Hello, world. It is Friday. That means that I have another badass funnel Fiesta episode for you today. And I'm always excited. Let's call it what it is. But today I'm excited for a specific reason. Also, always excited for a specific reason, but that doesn't matter. Today we are talking about business foundations. It doesn't matter how good your funnel is. It does not matter how many people you can save with your product or your service. It doesn't matter if it's the best damn thing in the whole wide world. If you do not have foundations, systems, processes in place for your business, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to cost you a lot of heartache. It's going to cost you a lot of headaches. And all those things are bad. So I have a very good friend of mine who is, I kid you not, the best business educator I know, because nobody else has educated me as much as she has with as little information. That doesn't say what I really wanted it to. She teaches me more in a little bit of time than anybody else has ever tried. So I want to introduce you to Kara, who is the founder of the Launched Academy. And Kara, I got your email. I know you guys can't see her. I see her in the background. I got your email earlier. Yeah, I'm going to commit to the next academy, by the way. But let's bring her up. I want you all to meet her. And we're going to talk about foundations. And we're going to talk about how you can make sure that you're not effing up your stuff. Or if you don't even know what you're doing, how to fix all the things you don't know. So here we go. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good too. Look at all these people talking over here. You guys are going to distract me. So let's jump right in, right? So one of the things that drew me to you is when you did a workshop that told people how not to lose 100K in their business. That's a pretty big thing, right? Like I have had several businesses. I've probably lost at least that much money. And yeah, right. From the things that I've learned from you, if you have business foundations, the things that we're going to talk about in place, you can avoid that heartache and that crunch on your wallet, right?
For sure.
Okay. So let's hop in. Let's just talk about next week's workshop, okay? Because I want so many people, my goal, because you told me this should be my goal, is to have 16 new people in your workshop next week. That's perfect. My goal. Contribute 16 of my friends. So tell us about the workshop and why people should not miss it.
Okay. Can I talk about what your business foundations are first?
Yeah.
Because I say that and everyone's like, okay, cool. So like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what that means. So a little background on me. I have been in business for a very long time, basically since I was a kid. I've started 6 businesses. I've sold 4 businesses. I still run 2 of them. One of those businesses has been to help other businesses. I was recruited to start helping other businesses. And what happened is these big businesses would come into my office, virtual or real, and have huge messes on their hands. And I don't know what to do. My business is failing. You have to help me. What does this look like? And every single time, I think without fail, we realized they had done something wrong at the beginning. They didn't have systems. They didn't understand marketing. They were doing their money wrong. They didn't have a brand. They didn't understand what that was. And so then we had to go back and redo it. And it cost them $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 to do it right. And so the foundations are those things that you can build your business on: branding, marketing that's set up correctly, your online presence, systems. Systems are so important, and money. You gotta do your money right.
And I cannot be in a conversation where we're talking about branding without saying branding is not your logo, friends. There is so much more to branding. And if you know what your branding actually is, we're talking like your message, how you talk to people, who you're helping, all of these things. Once that's clear to you, it's easier for you to tell other people, and it's easier for you to then ask them to buy your shit, just so you know. So the branding part is important because it not only it costs a whole lot more money to go back and fix your branding than it does to do it right the first time.
For sure. And people are willing to spend an easy 30% more with a company that has a brand that they identify with. and that they can easily share. An easy 30% more. And that's not even talking about building the trust and people just saying yes. It's like the upsells. They're willing to spend more with you. So like it's a really big deal. You definitely don't want to have to go backwards and redo it because it's expensive.
What I heard you say is it's easier to build your base of super fans when you have a clear branding in place. Oh,
yeah. No, that was a good way. Yeah, good job. Good job.
And super fans are our whole goal, because if we have the right base of super fans, they tell all of the other people, all of the rest of the world about our stuff. They buy our stuff. They have other people buy our stuff. And that is the ultimate goal in life, which, by the way, I am a super fan of Kara.
Woohoo. I think I saw Christian in here too saying good things. I didn't get to read all the comments. I can't see them all. So if you have any that I should know about, because I can't see all yours. I have it up in my group, but that's all I can see.
Christian says she's definitely a super fan of both of us.
I'm a super fan of JKN as well, and a super fan of Christian. Christian was not in Offer Showcase the other day, and I was like bumming all day.
Christian, did you hear that? I know you did.
I was like, what happened to Christian? I don't know what to do. I feel like my system is broken. I don't know what's next.
I don't know.
I didn't know how to move forward. Anyway,
that's.
I asked about the workshop. Oh, sorry, what?
No, I was just gonna say, because Christian is such a super fan, I always talk about Christian in these live videos. Like, everybody knows who Christian is, and everybody should know who Christian is. So
I agree.
So figure it out. No, I'm kidding. Yes, let's talk about the workshop, because I did this workshop, this exact workshop with you probably over a year ago. And I could not believe the amount of information that you provided. Like, it was almost its own little mini course in this small amount of time. That was just, that workshop was a game changer for my business. So she said, figure it out. I sure did. Don't figure things out. Go to this workshop. Tell what happens at the workshop so that I quit stumbling over.
Well, first of all, you know how you go to a workshop or like any webinar ever, and they just keep telling you all the problems that you have, and they're going to fix it at the end? I hate that. I hate that. I hate being a part of it. It irritates the crap out of me. It feels manipulative and stupid and ridiculous. And so when I started this workshop, I was like, we're not doing that. I'm not going to sit there and talk for an hour about how I can fix your stuff if you hang on till the end, and then it's just a sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. So what the workshop is I have a checklist for building your foundation correctly, for making sure you have all of the pieces. It's a very slimmed down checklist, because if I gave you my full checklist, you'd cry. But it's a very slimmed down checklist. It's still 7 pages, but it's slimmed down and is like, okay, the first step in building your business looks like getting legal. Here's how you get legal. The next step is creating a brand. Here's how you create a brand, etc. So you have that checklist. And in the workshop, we kind of go through it a little bit deeper. I explain things. We're busting a lot of myths. I'm teaching you the finance piece is my favorite piece. I'm teaching you a little bit how to do that. The common mistakes that business owners are making, we are trying to rectify those very, very quickly, right at the beginning. 90 minutes to give you so much information, as much information as you can possibly get in those 90 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about the academy, but mostly it's how do you build your foundation correctly? How do you make sure you're avoiding the mistakes that everyone else makes? How do you know what your next steps are?
Yep. Thank you for pointing that out. So we've all gone to webinars. We've all done workshops where I, for one, am a big fan of hands-on stuff. Like, okay, yes, teach me something that I might need to know, right? But with your workshop, it's very hands-on. You go through as much as you can, depending on who's there. You go through the checklist and you actually have people do the work, and they're like, oh, I don't know these answers. I really need to figure this out. So it's not just it is a fire hose of information, but it's not something that you're going to just leave the workshop and like, I have no idea what just happened. You're going to leave the workshop like fired up. Oh my gosh, I solved some problems in this 90 minutes that maybe you didn't even know you had, or I know exactly how to fix these problems that I knew that I had, but I didn't know how to fix. So it's not just your average go learn stuff and then buy something at the end.
Yes. And I've actually never had any complaints about it at all. Everyone says good things about it because there's just so much in there. There's a lot of things like in the US, for anyone in the US, once you register your business, there are stuff they send you in the mail to buy like employee rights posters, and it costs you $400, and it looks like it comes from the government and most people pay it. It doesn't come from the government, it's a scam. And we'll talk about stuff like that because there's a lot of like really quick mistakes really quick fixes to mistakes that a lot of business owners are making. So we'll just kind of get through those really quick. Right there, if you didn't know about the employee rights posters scam, it saves you $200 to $400. So you're welcome, right? Totally worth it.
Okay, so what I just heard you say is not only are we going to not avoid the problems that Kara and I and a lot of people watching this have already experienced, losing lots of money, you're going to learn how to save money too.
For sure. Save
Love
money, save money. I do want to say this before people are like clicking on the link and looking at all of this. JKN has a special coupon code for you guys. This workshop is usually $197.
Worth way more than $197, by the way. If I knew what I knew about this workshop, I would have given $1,000. So
I'm going to write that down as a quote, and I'm going to add it to my thing.
This is recorded, and that can be a real quote because never mind. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I do. So scrolling across the bottom is the link for this workshop. Here is my code in the chat. It's badass1. Get it? Badass. And I'm going to put it on the screen for you. So I'll go back to the replays of these and make sure that that coupon code is clear. But yeah, you can get access to this workshop for just $1. And I just told you that I would happily pay $1,000 for the information. Just the checklist alone, good grief. I would not pay $1,000 for the checklist, but I would pay a lot of money for the checklist.
It's a good checklist. I really like it. I think it's a good checklist. These are things that I needed. And I realized as I was meeting with clients over and over again, I worked with the Women's Business Center for a while, and I was meeting with clients all the time. And I realized I was teaching them the exact same things over and over again. They're like, well, how do I get started? Or why is this screwed up? And all the time I was going back and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we had a list to get them all through? Because essentially I was just doing that in my head. Every business owner needs to go through this. And if they're 5 or 10 years in and then they figure out they have to go through this, it's expensive. So we want to all start right, save money.
Ooh, this made me come up with a really good question. So, who is this workshop for? Is it for people who haven't started a business? Is it for people that have already started their business? Is it for people who've been in business for a hot minute? Tell me, who is the ideal person?
Okay, so the ideal person has started their business in some capacity. They have a product or a service that is ready to sell. It's ready to go. It's ready to sell. You could sell it today. That is ideal for me. And then they're not feeling like they know what they're doing in the rest of their business. They're feeling like in a lost and confused space. They're not getting the marketing that they need. They're not getting the clients that they need. They're starting to spend a lot of money on stuff they feel like they have no idea if it'll work or not. They don't really know how to tell if it works. I do like people who are newer in business. When I'm working with people who are 5 or 10 years into business, this is a different animal. It requires a lot more work. So if you are less than 3 years into business, that's ideal. Less than 3 years, but your product is ready to sell. You're ready to actually grow your business. It's a great place to be.
And you can get access to it for $1. So you don't even have to worry about a giant investment.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. So one reason why I started my business was because I hated that people felt like they needed to choose between keeping the lights on or investing in something that would help them grow. This is an opportunity for you to get your shit together, to get some answers, to figure out where the holes are in your systems for $1. $1. This is what I like to call a no-brainer offer, my friends. And that's why I am basically preaching about it. Because it's something that everybody needs.
I agree. I think it's such a big deal. I wish I would have had it when I'd started my businesses. I made tons of mistakes. tons of mistakes because you don't really know. And I have a theory that a lot of us don't like to ask for help because I think sometimes it feels like it's not your win, or you cheated, or you didn't do it on your own, or things like that. And I think sometimes we have a hard time saying like, hey, yo, just tell me what to do.
I would concur with that theory. I think that you're probably right because I definitely have had those thoughts myself.
And I did too. I spent like 5 years trying to figure it all out alone until I was in a desperate situation, ready to shut my photography studio down, freaking out about everything. And I didn't realize, like, if I had asked for help at the beginning, I could have missed all of it. But I was so proud, maybe scared, maybe to ask for the help and to say that I didn't know how to do this, that I never did until I was forced to. And I think if we could all be like really accepting of asking for help, I think we could be in a lot better places.
Here's my spin on the theory. I think that somehow in our brains, we believe that if we started a business, that means that we know what the hell we're talking about, right? So why would we ask for help? But here's the thing. We are a genius in what we do, right? Like you are a genius photographer. Maybe there's a genius baker here. Maybe there's a genius, and I know that there is a genius astrology person here. But you know what we don't know? We don't know the business. Unless you went I don't know if I want to say that, but I'm going to. Unless you went to school and you got your business degree, then you probably don't know all the things. And I'm not saying that it's good or bad if you went to college to get a business degree. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of the entrepreneurs that I know went to school, went to college, spent a whole lot of money, and then started their own business that has nothing to do with what they went to school for. And that is okay.
For sure. So another thing I like to point out about this too, is I like to compare it to like a scientist, right? So we start business, especially women. Women are really good at this. And we're going to do it all on our own. And we're all starting from the beginning. And we're all like set back here at the starting line. We all set ourselves here. And then we don't get any help, we're not moving forward. We're just stumbling through this race all by ourselves. If we did the same thing with science, if my kid was like, I want to be a scientist and I want to learn these things. And I'm like, great, you have to start here. Nobody will teach you what they've already discovered in the last 100 years. You have to discover it yourself. He would never get anywhere. Science would never continue. Science would never grow. It would never move forward because we're not moving people to the front and saying, here is everything we've learned. Start here instead of starting way back here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually.
And then even more, because I feel passionate about this, is a lot of men are handed down businesses. It's not as common amongst women. So men already kind of have a step up because they have all of this business knowledge, generational business knowledge behind them. And women all keep setting themselves here. If we were investing in business education, if we were willing to ask for help, if we were doing those things, we could raise that bar up and be a little bit more on par with our male counterparts, right? Because they have generations of this and we're starting here. If we could use the women that know 10% more, 20% more, 30% more, and platform off of that, springboard off of that, that would be amazing. Imagine the differences we could make if we stopped setting ourselves at the beginning of the starting line.
Okay, so since you went there, let's also talk about community. This, I had no intention of going here, but let's go there. First of all, I am in your Facebook group, and I feel like in that group alone, you've done a really good job of cultivating community in your academy members. Ooh. But we also are part of a women's entrepreneur network that a lot of networking groups that you join, Facebook groups, whatever, people are there looking for their next client, right? They're basically using it as a prospecting tool. Not that that's a bad thing. But what I love about the community that we're part of addresses that very thing that you were just talking about. The people there are looking for collaboration. They're looking to teach people all of the mistakes they've already made so that the people coming in behind them avoid all of those mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I would love to invite anybody that's watching this. Actually, I think it's at the top of my comments. You can find the link because I didn't update that when I made this stream. I always forget to, but that's one thing that I love. And that's where we met, actually, is in that community.
It is.
Where people are working to grow a community. They're focused on finding people to lock arms with, not just sell stuff to.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if we could build on each other like that, like what if you could teach everyone what if you could teach what if you could teach people everything you learned and start them 10 steps ahead? And that's kind of my goal, is to start women 10 steps ahead. Start a little further ahead so you don't have to stumble through all of these pieces that end up keeping you 10 years back. And that's really what it is. It's a good 5-10 years to figure it out on your own, or you could do it right in 6 months is really what it comes down to. I don't know why we keep ourselves back.
Oh, Christian just sent me a private message. She said, if you need a launch code, mine is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why do I need your code when mine is badass? Christian, I know you've heard that. Oh, she makes me laugh. So many things. Hi, Tara. Thanks for hopping in with us. But let's see. Is there anything else that we should talk about with the workshop and the business foundations? How many, there's more than one time spot, right?
Yeah, I think there's 8. So that's something else to talk about. I only teach this live 3 times a year. It used to be 4. I just decided last night that it's going to be 3 now. I'm combining one of my launches. So I only teach this live 3 times a year. I teach it live for a whole week, and I fit as many workshops in as I can. If you miss it, you miss it. There are some recordings that you can have access to, but you can't ask your questions, which is the number one point of this. Mm-hmm. It's kind of only okay. So if you miss it, you miss it. It's done. The first one starts on, I think, the 18th, and the last one, I think, is on the 25th. So you have that window to get your butt in there. There's ones in the morning, there's ones in the evening, there's ones on Saturdays. There's a lot available. Get your butt in there and get your questions answered, and make sure you are taking. Why wouldn't you start 10 steps ahead if you can?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why wouldn't you learn how not to lose $1,000, $100,000,
or even $1,000?
Yeah.
$1 and an hour and a half of your time is worth $1,000 savings. It's worth getting there 3 years earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's $1, people. Why wouldn't you say, oh, $1? Why wouldn't you go with the expectation? Maybe I'm not going to learn anything at all, but it's $1. So I'm going to see if she can't change my whole life, because she's going to.
And other people are paying the $200, the $197 to be in there. My affiliates my super secret affiliates, you guys have codes to get people in. That I think my ad guy has a $7 code, but that's like it. So take advantage of it while you can get it for this price. I mean,
it's funny that you say that, because I've been helping Kara with a lot of her automations, and so I get notifications when people do things. And I saw a couple of people have paid the $200 for this workshop, and I'm telling you how to get it for $1. Say it again, $1. I'm really excited, but anyway.
I am too. It's a good week. We teach so much. We move so many people through this. Our goal is to teach 300 business owners this week how to do their business better, how to skip ahead in line and do this better. So that is our goal, is to get 300 business owners through here so they can start ahead of the game.
And just because I haven't really focused too much on this, we are in Q4, which means it's the time to be thinking about, how am I going to end the year with a bang? How am I going to start next year with a bang? If you are getting your life together and your business together and you're getting these foundations in place, what is that going to mean for you in 2024?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And what a good time to get started on figuring some of this out, especially if you're service-based, because a lot of service-based businesses have a decline through the holidays versus the product-based that are the other way around.
Oh, so that's a really good point too.
If you're service-based, this is such a good time to be like, cool, people are busy with some other stuff. I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to make sure we're building well and doing it right. There's no reason. I started this business because it is heart-wrenching to sit on a phone call or across a desk from business owners who realize they did it wrong and are sobbing their hearts out because it's going to cost them so much money to fix it. And they realize they screwed it up. And most of them are kind of at a place where it's like, do I spend the money to fix it or do I lose my business? And it's heart-wrenching to sit there and be like, you just did it wrong. You just didn't, it's fine. We just have to go backwards and fix it. But that's why I started this business, is I was like, if anyone would just teach people how to do it right, just teach people how to do it right, it would save them so much time and so much stress and so much money. I don't teach people further in business very often at all anymore because I just can't handle the pain that goes with it. It's a really hard place to be. So my goal is to help 300 businesses avoid that in some way in this next week.
I love it. So if you're watching this, share this video. Tag people, business owners that you know, people who've been in business less than 3 years or so, or that are super stuck, can't figure out how to get above the 100K mark, because that's also a big part of the marketing and the money section. I know for a fact, because I've been snooping. Who else? Tag somebody who is thinking of starting a new business so that they don't make those mistakes as they're getting out the gate. I would love to see the people watching this. I would love to see you tag two people who need to be. Listen, if you're watching this in my Facebook group, or in Kara's group, I don't know about your group, but mine is public. So you can share this anywhere. You can share it. You can send it to people. Please do so, because it's going to be, there's nothing that they can't learn, that even if it's just one nugget, it could change the whole trajectory of the end of the year and their 2024. So share. Tell all the people, tell them how cool Kara is. Super secret way to get the $200 workshop for $1, all of the things. So Kara, thank you so much for hanging out. This has been a lot of fun.
We always have fun.
I know, right? So much fun. But I know you have a lot to do and I have a lot to do. So what would be your final thoughts to leave people with before we go back to all of our deadlines today?
Okay, so my final thoughts are that it is okay to ask for help in your business. I don't care if it's from me, I don't care who it's from, but being able to say, I don't know stuff and I want to start 10 steps ahead in my business race is a huge thing to be able to do. That is so much value. So those are my final thoughts, is figure out how to say, I need help. Someone teach me what you know, and just take all of the knowledge from other people so you can level up.
My final thought is $1.
Hi, Georgia. I see Georgia's on there.
Oh, geez, that's funny.
Yeah, $1. There's really nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. I guess $1 you have to lose is it. If it's terrible, but I promise it's not.
Listen, if you pay just $1 for the checklist, it's worth it.
That's true.
It's $1. You know what? Oh, here we go. Listen, if you tag me, I'll pay your $1. Okay. I want 16 people that use my code. So if you're afraid that you're not going to get your $1 back, you let me know. I'll pay your $1. It'll be fine. Because I know that it's going to change your effing world. So anyway, thank you again. Thanks for hanging out with us. I have no idea who my guest is next week because I've been busy and I didn't schedule anybody. So it'll be a secret until it's not. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. And until next time, have a fantastic weekend and be your badass self.
Thank you. Bye, guys.